Radio's broadcast of the Seattle MLK Junior Coalition's 41st March and Rally. We are excited to be here. I'm Tony B. Joining me once again, how many years has this been? Mr. Dupree, Mr. Rick Dupree.
Well, yeah, nice to be on the air. Thank you. Man, how many years has it been? Of the 41. We've done a few.
We've done quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And joining us for her inaugural debut as part of the broadcast team is Kimberly Phillips, Garfield graduate alumni. How are you, Kimberly?
84. I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Can
you hear me? I can hear you. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
yes.
okay, there we go.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. It's been a long time, like 35 years.
Oh boy.
So I'm sure memories as you walk the halls and see the photos and everything.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, we're going to have some folks to be interviewed here, and Rick, let's start off. I'm just going to ask you, MLK. We're a few years removed from the impact that he had. What are your thoughts, Rick, as we do this 41st annual about the dream, if you want to say that, but more than the dream, the movements that he was looking to get started before he was assassinated?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his legacy will continue forever. And I think it's interesting as you look at the march. I think probably best known for the speech, the March on Washington in 1963. But you look at the legacy of what he has done, what he did, and you look at the march even, and he was shifting, and it was called the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. And so his message before he was assassinated really was moving more toward economic development and empowerment and what have you. And so you see that dream being realized to a certain degree. Well, long way to go. Long way to go. But we have come a long way, and he is, I think that symbol of Black pride of what we can accomplish. And I know growing up being a kid, I remember at 7 years old when he was assassinated. I remember sitting on my mom's lap, and actually 6 years old because it was 60 in the kitchen, and I mean, the impact that it had. Yeah. But again, here we are, and we're still talking about it today. So there is a legacy, and it lives.
I remember same thing, watching that black and white television.
Yeah. Little black and white TV. Some of our phones are bigger than TV.
We are here again at the first annual March and Rally, celebrating Dr. King's holiday. Rick, I'm going to go find some folks for you to interview.
All right.
And if you and Kimberly would like to share some information on today's program, we'll make it happen.
We can do that. Yeah. And do you prefer Kim or Kimberly?
Kimberly's just fine.
All right. So again, welcome to the broadcast. And as you think about the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., what comes to mind for you? And as you look back at your experiences?
Oh boy. So I didn't have the same experience as you guys. I'm just a little bit younger, but just looking through Garfield and seeing how much the impact in Garfield of Martin Luther King is still here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, it's totally a different school, but it still has the same energy. So I just think it's amazing that it just continues.
Right.
It hasn't died. His spirit is still alive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And we are in the gymnasium, and kind of I would say newly renovated. It's been here for a while, but I mean, as they went through a renovation and an incredible gymnasium, and what you're hearing in the background to a certain degree, people are getting prepared and what have you. There were a lot of workshops going on in the actual school, in the classrooms, and those areas. And those are wrapping up. And so people are heading over here, and about 11 o'clock in about 10 minutes, the program will actually get underway. But right now you have some of the some young speakers. And Kimberly, I see some of these young people, and that warms my heart when you see these kids and they are keeping the dream alive.
And they're excited.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So we'll have some young people speaking. We'll go over the program in just a little bit, but we'll have some young people speaking. We have some music going on. We've got
dancers.
Yeah. So
time ago, bringing it back.
Right. So a lot going on here today. So the program, the 41st annual celebration, actually will occur. The rally will be here in the Garfield Gymnasium from 11 until 12, about 12:15 or so, and then folks will begin to file outside. And the front of the gymnasium, just off of 23rd, and they've got a number of signs and what have you. And people will grab those, and then the march will commence at that point. So a number of things happening today as we celebrate Reverend Dr. Martin Yeah. So going down the program just real quickly for you all. So it'll start out land acknowledgement from Ken Workman, and then invocation from Chris Walker. Antimo Bennett Jr. will kind of do the welcome, and I believe I was going to say serve as the host, but then the Black National Anthem will be performed by Alana Edwards, and then Kimberly mentioned Eddie Rye Jr. Many of you know that name, a man who has spent years in the community as an activist here in Seattle and beyond. And he'll talk a little bit about the history of the march and the rally. Again, this being the 41st year. Then we have a few speakers and more selections, performance by the Throwbacks. So that should be a lot of fun.
I actually don't know who the Throwback is. Are those the actual dancers?
I think that may be who that
I've
is.
seen them a few times. They're a treat.
So we will see that. More speakers and at about 11:48. Again, the program will shift some, but if we're trying to be on time, they'll do their best. We have speakers with purpose scholars. Speak with purpose scholars. So those are the young individuals that we are referring to, and they will have some time on the program. And then talk a little bit about fundraising, also a tribute presentation by Pastor Robert Jeffries, and then a spoken word by Monique Franklin, a phenomenal spoken word artist and just artist in general. Our fourth speaker, a little after noon, will be Lanisha DeBartleman. DeBartleman.
Yeah, that one.
I always mess up her last name. But anyway, Lanisha, the former head of the Northwest African American Museum, and she will be on board. And then the benediction will be formed by Rabbi David. And so a incredible program scheduled here, and we are about ready to get underway in about 7-8 minutes. Again, Tony B going out, and we'll grab some speakers as well, and we will have them join us throughout this program. And again, as I take a look and think about the history, and again, I can remember I mentioned, and a lot of people on the air that listen to Rainier Avenue Radio know that working on a documentary with Elmer and Aaron Dixon on the Seattle Black Panthers, and it's interesting hearing them talk about the impact that MLK, and they marched. Aaron and Elmer marched with Dr. King when he was here in Seattle, and it was interesting because you look at when the Black Panthers came on the scene in the mid 60s, and then here 1968, and there was a shift from kind of the nonviolent turn the other cheek to these younger people saying, nah, and part of my grandma, we ain't turning the other cheek.
No.
You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
We're tired.
Yeah. And I think along the lines of Malcolm X and what have you. And it's interesting because they were painted as radical, they were painted as extremists and what have you. And the reality is that as Aaron and Elmer described, as revolutionaries, they hated oppression and fought against oppression. That was they fought for all oppressed people.
Right.
And the fight is still going on today.
No, I actually can remember when I was young, I used to go to Mega Rivers to swim, and they'd have the food program out there. And I used to get the sack lunch. It was very good because back then kids didn't want to go home. They wanted to stay out from the day till the evening. Yeah, no doubt. And so you were hungry, but I benefited from the program. Just they were dedicated, and I think that's just an amazing thing that they've done. Yeah. And now they're going to be coming up with a museum, I hear.
Yeah, that's they're certainly working on that, and so I think one of the first of its kind, and I can't remember the official name of it, but yeah, kind of a museum and educational center, and so something that they're working on, and there is in a time when our history, that there's an effort to erase our history and say that Black history, was not, was not what it was. And Juan Cotto, how you doing, young man? All right, good. But at a time when there is an attack on our history and the truth of our history, something like that is so important. That we're telling our stories in our voices, and that certainly is something. Juan talking about the Black Panthers and the effort that they're undertaking to create the museum and educational center. And we've been talking a little bit, and certainly would love to get your take on, as you think about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and what he stood for and his legacy. What comes to mind for you, and as you take a look at where we are here now in 2024 and worldwide, the things that are going on and the continued attacks on people of color and what have you, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, well, obviously, the Dr. Martin Luther King had a commitment to community. He had a commitment to peace. He had a commitment to education, and things that I still think that we're struggling with today. And obviously, whether it's economic development, whether it is ways that we are telling these stories, and thank goodness for Rainier Avenue Radio, so we can continue to share these stories, and then obviously the dream that he had for our country, which really resonates. And Rick, now having children,
yeah.
And it's, to me, in a completely different light in terms of not only how we share a vision for community and all the things he stood for, but making sure that we're sharing that with our children,
Right.
And getting them to grow up. And so it takes on a much more special impact. And as you were talking about, it's so important that we continue to share these stories because we're getting further and further away from those times.
But absolutely.
And so as we and the way that you change the future is by making sure that your children, your community understand the history. And it's just so exciting to see all these people lined up here today to share in that, and the words of wisdom and the people that we'll celebrate who've had impact on this community. But like I said, the commitment to community, the commitment to peace, the commitment to education, and now in my life, sharing this with my children is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's so important. And in like I said earlier, in a time when our history, there's an attack on our history, an attack on our relevance, and that's the foundation of this country. And the fact that he stood for something so much more, and we see again, Kimberly and I were talking about these young people that are going to be speaking today, and seeing them here, rehearsing, getting ready is I mean, you talk about the children, and that is, those stories have to be passed down. We're the griots. We got to tell these stories, and if we don't, they're going to be lost. And that's why it's so important that as we start to document these things, and things like the Black Panther, Education Center and Museum and other things like that started. So that the true story can be told, and it has to be our stories, our voices. There's no way around it. We can't have anybody else telling our story because they're going to dilute it, they're going to water it down, they're going to change it. And you look at what's going on down in Florida, and for Ron DeSantis to say, there are some skills that slaves gained that helped them. Yes, like, wait a minute, come on, And so I mean, that's why we have to combat those types of attacks.
Extremely disappointing, and as you well know,
All right.
It's Tony B.
Juan, in a second here, we're going to have Sade from the committee come by. And there she is. Juan, if you wouldn't mind giving Sade the opportunity to.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is a Rainier Avenue Radio, broadcasting live from Garfield High School. The MLK Junior Dream Unfinished, the MLK Coalition presenting today's, there have been workshops and rally, and then we're going to go into a march. And so, Sade, welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm busy running around. This is the normal every year, just making sure that I do my meet and greets. We've had a couple of news stations wanted to do an interview, buttoning things up for our program. But other than that, I'm feeling good. Yeah. It's a sunny but cold day.
Yes, it is.
Thank God it is not snowing right now. I know the weather was very unpredictable for us, but we're still here. I can tell you, rain or shine, we're going to be here. Dr. King did not take no days off, and nor will we. So I'm blessed. Thank you.
Yeah. Share a little bit for our listeners. We went kind of over the program, but share for our listeners kind of a little bit of the history, and not so much the history in terms of just like what is happening, today, and kind of how this has come about.
Right. So the first march, or the coalition or committee, came together, I believe, in 1983. And it was a small group, and over the course of the last 40 plus years, that coalition of volunteers in our community has transcended, meaning that it has grown. We are seeing a lot more young people activated and leading a lot of our committees, as well as the work that we do. This is our 5th year that we have created our internship program. We have 7 interns this year. The first year we started off with 2,
Wow.
then we went to 4, then we went to 6. Now we're at 7. So it's been an amazing ride. MLK Junior's Dream Unfinished really means that there is still a lot of work for us to do. If you can recall, leading up until his last days, he was just talking about, how this work, ultimately it still needs to, we still have a lot of work to do there. I mean, even in our backyard, you see what's happening, systemic oppression, police brutality, gun violence in our community, what's happening in the Middle East. So again, it's just important to remember that we got to ring that bell. You see it in the design. We're ringing that bell of freedom and unity. But at the same time, we just need to be able to come together to keep this work moving forward.
Sade, can you tell us what happened in the workshops this morning?
What happened in the workshops?
I'm asking you. We didn't get a chance to go.
So
up
I
there.
didn't either.
Okay.
So I mean, the good thing about being in the position I'm in is there are leads, right, or chairs or co-chairs that lead each of those different events. So we have a team that leads our opportunity fair. We have co-leads that lead our workshops. We have a lead that leads our interns. We have leads that lead our program and our logistics. So I didn't show up to the workshops, unfortunately, just because I was running around doing some last minute prints. The work never stops. I'm chair and I'm secretary and admin at the same time. So people are calling me. We have 5 group chats going on right now. And something needs to happen. I need to make the stop.
Well, and for you to take a minute out to talk with us, we appreciate it. So give a context, the workshop purpose of the workshops, and kind of what was some of the content so people have an idea.
Right. I mean, so, gosh, I want to say that we probably have well over, I think 18, maybe 15 to 18 different workshops. Gosh, don't quote me, but you can definitely find that on our website, www.seattlemlkcoalition.org. I mean, the purpose.
I'm going to try and find somebody who went to the workshop.
Yeah, definitely do that.
I know Eddie and Hayward.
They were at the opportunity fair, but they may have stopped into one of the workshops just to see what.
But the overall purpose of the workshops is
it's to educate, right? To ensure that the different issues that are impacting our community are being able to be presented for open discussion, right, within our community. So you have a lot of subject matter experts or leaders or business owners or nonprofit leaders, CEOs, and teachers, professors that are coming in, and they are creating these workshops, these programs to bring light to these different issues to our community.
Thank you.
And they are very interactive as well. That was the whole point of this.
Absolutely.
Engagement.
They're engaging this year, which is amazing. We actually have surveys now. So we're surveying our workshop, our attendance, how well are we doing? We're actually surveying every program that we have. So Opportunity Fair, our young leaders, the March and Rally, and the workshops as well. So we're hoping to keep expanding.
I don't know if we named your title. What exactly do you do? Like, you said your name, but what exactly?
Yeah, so this is my 5th year as being chair of the Seattle MLK Organizing Coalition. So when I started, I was probably about 30 years old. Single mom. I have a 14-year-old now. When I came into the coalition, my daughter probably was about 5 months. So now she's 14. Super crazy, but she's here. She sees mom doing this work. I was the first young black woman to become chair of this coalition. Predominantly, it's been led by men, by black men, and by our elders. So they were able to finally pass that baton, and I got it. Now I'm gearing up to pass it again in the next couple of years. So super excited. Keep the work going.
Yeah. It's so important to see. I would say, I mean, when you said 30, I'm like, I didn't even think you were that age.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great to see young sisters doing this work and for this community coming together like it is. So
Absolutely.
thank you for the work you're
Thank
doing.
you.
So important.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I know you got a lot to do, so we don't want to.
I want to make sure that our agenda, the folks that are on our program are set up. But I appreciate y'all being here as you are every year. This is amazing. I think when Tony and I talked, he had to make sure the logistics were good, and I was like, yes, make sure you're there. So again, I'm just blessed. 41 years, 5 years for me leading this. So I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you for the work, and thank you for keeping the dream alive.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, you are listening to a live broadcast here at Garfield High School, Rainier Avenue Radio. I'm Rick Dupree along with Lon Cotto, Kimberly Phillips, and we are, again, just starting to fill up here in the gymnasium, and the rally scheduled to start any minute now. And as the folks are lining up, getting in the seats here, and again, following this morning, a number of workshops that you heard Charlotte talk about, and really, in an effort to make sure that we're just educating and keeping, information out there, keeping the dream alive. So, again, welcome you to our broadcast. And one, before we're interrupted, again, you were talking a little bit more about kind of the young folks here. Oh, we got
royalty in here.
the man himself,
The legend.
Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna slide over here.
Okay, yep, I got it. Eddie Rye coming on board. We'll get him in just a moment here. And Eddie is scheduled to speak on the program as well. And so great to have him here. Mr. Rye, how are you, sir? All right. Real good to see you. We're going to give him a headset here so he can hear us and you can hear him. And we're going to talk a little bit. So again, Eddie Rye on the program here, and he will talk a little bit later and really talk a little bit about the history of the march. But Eddie, great to have you here. 41st annual celebration here in Seattle. And you have done so much in this community, from making sure that the name change of the county to Martin Luther King Jr. County, the only one, here in the States. Talk a little bit about just this history, man, and what it means for you to see this continue year after year.
Well, it got started in 1983. The first march was really a protest. We had worked for about 2 or 3 years to have Empire Way changed to Martin Luther King Jr. Way. And that happened when I was hosting a talk show on KYAC Radio.
Yes, indeed. I remember that.
I'm too young to remember that.
I am not. Soul Radio.
Yeah.
Vivian Phillips and Robert L. Scott and everything. Yeah,
Frankie Girl went through that. But anyway, the late Freddie Mago Shea brought Reverend Jesse Jackson in for the interview. And Stevie Wonder was sponsoring an event on January 15th in Washington, D.C. to compel Congress to make Dr. King's birthday national holiday. So Reverend Jackson said, a lot of cities are establishing monuments in Dr. King's name. So I took about, we had the on-air personality, like you mentioned, Vivian and others. And through the word out, we had a petition and took it to the city council. And they held on to about a year. And then they came back and said, well, because there was some opposition from some merchants on the south end, gas stations, secondhand stores, pizza parlor, supply company. And so Mayor Royer and some of the city officials said, okay, to appease everybody, we'll change the name from Madison to where it intersects with Rainier. So the late Councilman Sam Smith and George Benson said, naming the half of the street for a great man of half honor, we're not going for it. So anyway, as it all turns out, to make a long story short, a lot of people didn't want that street name because it was State Highway 900, which meant the MLK signs had to go up on the freeway. That had a lot to do with it. Anyway, the suit was filed. There were death threats made. The Justice Department got involved, and it went all the way to Washington State Supreme Court. So on November 2nd, 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed the first King holiday bill, which was going to take effect the third Monday of 1986. So 4 weeks after that, on November 30th, 83, the Washington State Supreme Court ruled that the city of Seattle had the authority to change the name of the street. And then we get down to the county. And then, so about 2 weeks after that, in 1986, after the first holiday, King County Councilmember Ron Sims and Bruce Lane, who Republican, came up with a proclamation to proclaim this to be King County. It passed the county council 5-4. 13 years later, in this building, they didn't have this building built yet, but at Garfield High School, I raised the question to the in charge, Larry Gossett, of finding out what process we have to go through to officially change the name of the county. As it turns out, only the state legislature could change the name. And then a 37th district state senator, Adam Klein, introduced legislation 8 times from 1999 to 2005. And it passed in 2005. Governor Christine Gregoire came up to Martin Luther King Jr. County Courthouse to sign the bill. And then it took us another 13 months to get the logo. We had some people said, well, we should have the building, a picture of the county building, the county courthouse is the logo. And I said, the county courthouse don't look like Martin Luther King Jr. But anyway, we did prevail. And so now we just have to make sure that the economic justice and economic equity comes with the name and opportunities, and stop these folks from preventing folks from getting to college and let the Voting Rights Act. So we have really a lot to do because the opposition is great.
Yeah, it is. Eddie Raya is joining us here on Rainier Avenue Radio, and as you talk about that, we mentioned the original or the official name of the march in 1960, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. And so again, like you said, that fight continues today. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of that in a time when, as we talked about earlier, our history, there's an attempt to erase our history and act like it hasn't happened and act like we are not relevant and again, which is the history of this country. But can you talk a little bit about the importance of the work that is continuing? Like you said, it ain't done. We got a lot of work to do.
When you really look at contracting opportunities in Washington State, it's a step above apartheid. 2021, Black-owned businesses did 0.18% of Washington State government agencies. And a year after the governor signed his executive order, January 2022, at the end of 2022, Black-owned businesses did 0.22%. And now we got 10 Black truckers who are sitting home, equipment not moving, and Sound Transit spent over $130 million on DBE trucking, which means it's in order. And I understand now one of the biggest recipients of the DBE money might be having a problem. And I won't reveal the name of that company or the individual, but it could be a problem. So we are asking members of the Congressional Black Caucus to get involved, while 3 key people who are not chairs anymore, but they are like Hank Johnson is the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. Bobby Scott, the ranking member of the House Education and Labor Committee, and Benny Thompson is the House ranking member of Homeland Security.
March rally.
They're taking it up. So
By
anyway,
the
Mr.
Seattle
Rye, real quick,
MLK Jr.
what has kept you
Organizing
motivated all these
Coalition.
years?
Any of our committee
Freedom.
members are in the room, just give the crowd a wave.
it's been in 10
Tell your
years in
neighbor, thank you
Shreveport,
for
Louisiana.
being here on today. My name is Kendra
I
Liddell,
knew
and
can
I
relate
am
to everything
the
Dr. King was doing
program subcommittee
because I'd
lead.
experienced that.
So myself and a small but mighty team put together an amazing program for you today for the rally. And for those of you that will be marching, we will also have
So great to see you. So great to see you. Thank you.
at the end of the rally. So if you're able to withstand the weather, please hang around. I do want to make an announcement. As you're shuffling in and getting your seats, please make sure the walkways are clear
We are
for safety issues or for safety precautions. Make sure the walkways are clear so that folks can move around the space. And I am going to hand it off to Mr. Kobe Williams, who will be our MC today. Give him up. Give him up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kobe Williams. I'm a junior at O'Day High School, and this is my second year at the MLK Organizing Coalition. And the number one thing that I can take away from this internship is that no matter what event you're planning, no matter what business plan you have set in place, the number one thing that brings success is passion. So this event today and the youth event you had yesterday, they had the passion of Martin Luther King's dream behind them. And that's why they were successful. So I know that I'll be able to take that with me, whether I'm pursuing a college degree or starting a business or anything. So thank you all for coming. Now we're gonna have Ken Workman with our land acknowledgement.
Thank you. Yayustos. This means workman. Yayustos tidzda hatatawams. Akwaye, kwakwaye, kwasiab, sialchan. And this is just the way we introduce ourselves in our language, our native language, the language that we were not allowed to speak for so very long. And it's starting to come back. And what I just said was, my name is Workman. I am the great-great-great-great-grandson of Chief Seattle. And I am of the Duwamish tribe. So what I would like to say is that it's okay for you to be here. And so just as my grandfather, this person that the world knows as Chief Seattle, stood on the shores of Alki Beach, not far from here, in 1851, and he said, La Leo, which means come ashore. La Leo Come ashore, my friends, onto this ancient land of the Duwamish. And then he said, Guyid. And this word, it means welcome. You are invited here. And so we, as the Duwamish, recognize that the world is a much smaller place. And so we say, Gui-gui-hidak, which simply means everybody is welcome here. And so just as my grandfather stood on the shores of Alki 172 years ago and he said those words, it is my honor to repeat those words for you here today so that you will know that you are welcome on this land of the Duwamish. And so we repeat this word 3 times so that you will know the truth of it. So when I say Gui-gui-hidak, 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 you are all welcome here. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really heartfelt. I'm sure we're all happy that, now that there's all the history behind the atrocities that were done to the Native people, and we are all welcome, it's still important to remember the history that did happen because you can't just ignore the past. But next up, we have an opening prayer by Reverend Chris Walker.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to acknowledge and commemorate Dr. King today. And as he was a clergyman, we would also like, to my right, acknowledge all existing clergymen. Just give me a hand. All right. All right. Well, let's bow our hearts and our minds to our Creator. In Jesus' name, Heavenly Father, we come to you, giving you glory and giving you praise. And Lord, we lift up this march to you, and to you, we lift up your people. And as we march in the name of liberty, freedom, justice, equality, love, the very things that Jesus has simplified, yet was condemned. So may this march demonstrate your loving attributes as Dr. Martin King spoke and marched in such demonstrations. And we honor King today, and may the world see our unity, united in the power of Christ, fulfilling King's dreams. So Lord, continue to be our refuge and be our hedge of protection from all things. Continue to be our source of strength and our source of great hope. Continue to be our certainty in Christ as we walk in for these causes. and let us walk by faith in your name. Amen.
Thank you again. Next up, to welcome us to Garfield High School, we have Sarai Smalls, currently a senior at Garfield High School, senior class president, drumline president, tutor, and member of Y Scholars and Black Student Union. Can we get a round of applause, please?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarai Smalls, and I'm the current senior class president and president of Garfield's athletic band. I just want to take a moment out of this program to welcome you all to Garfield, which is my house. And here at Garfield, go Bulldogs. Here at Garfield, one second. I wanted to take a moment to welcome you all here on this momentous occasion. And thank you on behalf of Garfield for participating in this rally and all the events surrounding this rally, and welcome you out of Garfield. So with that being said, have a great day, the Bulldog way, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you again. Our next performer will be Eddie Rye with Alana Edwards to perform the Black National Anthem. So, thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day's begun. Let us march on to victory is won.
That was beautiful. I think maybe we should get one more round of applause for that beautiful performance. Really shows how talented our youth can be. Now, next up, we have Eddie Rye to give us a quick bio and the history of the Martin Luther King Coalition, a founding member. So let's give him a round of applause as he enters on the stage.
Thank you very much. I'm going to try to condense this into 2 minutes as requested. This is the 41st anniversary of the march in Seattle, Washington, in terms of Martin Luther King. And the very first march was a protest. In 1980, we started a drive to change a street name in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. And it got to be very contentious. The Justice for is my time up already? That must have been the people who opposed the name change. But one of the things we found out early on is that the city officials made a deal where they were going to just name half of the street, cut it off at Rainier, and Councilmember Sam Smith, late Councilmember Sam Smith and George Benson said, naming half the street is a half an honor to a great man. We're not going for it. So anyway, after Royer signed the legislation and the law in 1982, in August, September, the merchants at the south end of the street filed a lawsuit. So it took a couple of years for it to get to the Washington State Supreme Court. On November 2nd, 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed the Martin Luther King holiday bill that would take effect the third Monday of 1986. 4 weeks after that, the Washington State Supreme Court ruled the city of Seattle had the authority to change the name of Empire Way to Martin Luther King Jr. Way. Now, it was an uphill battle because we had a lot of opposition from folks around here. And even after the name change of the street happened, the next issue was right after the holiday bill was signed, the King County Councilmember Ron Sims and Bruce Lang, who was a Republican, put together a proclamation proclaiming that this was Martin Luther King Jr. County. Well, 13 years later, in 1999, at this event, I charged Councilmember Larry Gossett with finding out what we have to do to officially change the name of this county to make sure that everybody knows it's Martin Luther King Jr. County. As it turns out, only the state legislature could make that change. State Senator Adam Klein from the 37th District introduced legislation 8 times between 1999 and 2005. 2005, Governor Christine Gregoire came to the Martin Luther King Jr. County Courthouse, signed the legislation. Then it took us another 13 months to get the logo. Some people wanted a picture of the county courthouse as a Martin Luther King logo. And I said, the county courthouse don't look like Martin Luther King Jr. So as you can see right now on all the county vehicles, all the county letterhead, everything is an image of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's the long and short of it. I won't tell you about the other stuff, but thank you very much. Good to meet you in person, sir. I've interviewed this young man on my radio program, Urban Forum Northwest. Check me out when you get a chance.
Thank you. Now, considering MLK's dream, it's important to remember that this isn't just a small bubble. This isn't just America. This is the entire world. So next up, we're going to have Bisan Barghouti, a Palestinian organizer with Samidun Seattle, the Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network. Let's get a round of applause.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here with all of you today. I am here to talk about how it has been 100 days and 75 years. For 100 days and 75 years, Palestinians have been resisting occupation, settler colonialism, and ethnic cleansing. For the past 100 days, Israel has been engaged in an ongoing genocidal campaign against Palestinians in Gaza. For the past 100 days, the Palestinian prisoner population has over doubled. For the past 100 days, there are over 30,000 Palestinian lives lost. 10,000 of those are children. Shame. But we are not just stories of unspeakable grief and sorrow. We are a proud people. We are a steadfast people, a people for the past 100 days have been breaking free from our colonizers' chains. In this moment, it has never been clearer to the masses. In this moment, it has never been clearer to the masses that US imperialism is our #1 enemy. Our clarity in this moment around that is our power. Despite hundreds of millions of people mobilizing in every corner of the world, taking to the streets in protest of their government's complicity, our governments and public institutions are refusing to act. This shatters the facade of democracy under capitalism. Ruling elites act in service of imperialist interests and profit, not what the people want, not the aspirations of the masses. We are rising up from Turtle Island to Palestine to say that the US war machine must be stopped. The voice of the majority is clear. The loudest voice is the voice of the masses that have for the last 100 days been so unified, it's almost deafening, to end the occupation, to end the genocide on Gaza, free Palestine from the river to the sea. And what international solidarity shows us and promises us is that the liberation of Palestine will soon bring about the liberation of all of us. And imperialism does not want us to see the connections between the struggle against racism and state violence here in the United States and the occupation of Palestine. And here in the belly of the beast, police departments all over the country, including ICE, Border Patrol, FBI agents, go and train and share tactics with Israeli occupation forces. Right now in Atlanta, activists are fighting the creation of Cop City. The Atlanta Police Foundation, corporations, and local officials are trying to destroy hundreds of acres of the Wilani Forest to build a massive police training compound. Shame. The compound would train cops from around the world in militarized police tactics and urban warfare. The Black freedom struggle has always been deeply internationalist, and as US troops and police unleash their artillery to quell this incredible rebellion, many people are drawing comparisons and making connections. From the US to Brazil to Israel, the militarization of the police is a global enterprise. And it grows directly from the soil of American history. Black and Palestinian leaders, from Dr. King to Dr. Angela Davis, to Mumia Abu Jamal, and Palestinian scholar Dr. Rabab Abdel Hadi and revolutionary Layla Khaled, remind us that justice is indivisible and that all fights for freedom are intertwined at their roots. Black leaders are risking everything to uproot the injustice at the heart of the US, and this work transcends borders. As we resist the murderous attacks on our Palestinian people and we resist the criminalization of Black people and movements, it is clear that we are still facing the situation that Martin Luther King Jr. identified and confronted. We are defending our peoples from the aggression of imperialism, racism, and Zionism and their prisons, police and military forces, and where there are prisons to lock up the people, where there is occupation and colonization, there will always be resistance. This moment has made it clearer to us than ever. This cause represents an anti-colonial, anti-capitalist, and anti-racist struggle that struggles for the dignity and freedom of all oppressed people. And the liberation struggle of the Palestinian people against Zionism and imperialism strikes a blow at a world system that has subjugated and exploited people of the global South. And here in Seattle, we have a responsibility to fight back. Seattle-based corporate giants like Boeing, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon are complicit with Israeli settler colonialism. Starbucks attacks the pro-Palestine labor movement at its own stores. And our politicians, including Senators Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray, vote for billions more in US funding of ongoing genocide. So we say, not in our name, not on our dime, no business as usual while Palestinians undergo genocide. No business as usual while Black and brown bodies continue to be occupied in this country in the belly of the beast. No business as usual until Palestine is free from the river to the sea. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! I'm gonna teach y'all a chant. It goes down, down with occupation. Up, up with liberation. Down, down with occupation. Up, up with liberation. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Risan. She was completely right. It's important to remember that In Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail, the number one thing that held back the movement was the white moderate. And it's the same for the Palestinian movement. Being moderate is siding with the oppressor. So we all have to make sure that we're on the side of the oppressed to help those in the world that are just like us. Next up, some returning singers from last year. They're gonna be singing Change Gonna Come, For Women, sang by Jeza Duhan and her team.
Hello, you all. It is an honor to be here. And I'm going to sing 2 selections for you, and I hope you guys like it. No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. My skin is brown, my hair so long, my hair is woolly, my back is strong, strong enough to take the pain, inflicted again and again. What do they call me? My name's Aunt Sarah. My name's Aunt Sarah. My skin. What do they call me? My name's Sophia. My name's Sophia. My skin is tan. My hair is mine. My head is wood. What do they call me? And my manner is tough.
Thank you again. That was do we get another round of applause? Next person we have is Reverend Dr. Testimony, Church United in Christ. Welcome around.
Dear friends, I am the Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown, Senior Pastor at Plymouth Church United Church of Christ in downtown Seattle. And one of the trustees of the Poor People's Campaign. And I came this morning to ask and wonder if you woke up this morning with your mind stayed on freedom. If you woke up this morning with your mind, the baton to you from my Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Because baby, we got some unfinished work to do. First of all, when we got John Wayne, somebody said, "Where's John Wayne?" Frank Fernando talked about that before he said, "We revolt is not for a particular culture. We revolt simply because, for many reasons, we can no longer breathe." Rest in peace, Mary Ellis. So every time waiting for folks to do what's right. Secondly, we have enough and we've done enough. We marched enough, we resisted enough, we protested enough, we started enough, we walked enough. Because he had a dream, but God knows he was not asleep. And we wasted enough time listening to the platitudes of people trying on power. We have work to do. Now, to those of every faith, because we know we are not just Christian, come on. So to those of every faith, to those who claim no faith, sacred and moral texts are clear that many policy that does not protect the rights of the poor, but exalting the rich and wealthy first is evil and it is wrong. And instead, woe to those who legislate evil, who make the law to deprive of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed. Matthew 25 also says, "Truly, whatever you did not do to the you did not do it for me." So join with me on March 2nd to take him on the steps of the and we mark for the liberation of poor and rolled up people in this country. Because when I know that everybody deserves housing, that the right come from. Everybody in the world, mental health. Everybody in the world, physical care, because that's what everybody wants to do to see their friends, no matter what companies say. For us to claim that there is unfinished business, it's time for folks to stop giving out terms. Pray with the hell never got. Who and public that term information. But we have unfinished business. We need common sense legislation that comes from people who have common sense. Common sense until you are part of the community. For somebody is hurting my people and it's going on too long, and we don't need kindness anymore. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Dear friends, this isn't just a time to go out and get a new couch. are waiting for people to do what we need. Come on. Already know what the prophet said. We can never use the master's tool to dismantle the master's house. So what to the master to release the resources? Here we're not going to tell you. We already have tools. Although that's not for you. I'm going to culture people, and that's my academic term for white folk. I need you to shift from being allies and move to being co-conspirators. I need you to stand in the gap by using your great privilege and power on behalf of the people of the land. Because guess what? They their position. The co-conspirators will move to empower. We no longer have time to carry your shame. Turn that shame into righteousness. People and indigenous people, what is our responsibility? Dear friends, we have to do what we are. We have to do anything more to each other, but we have to empower one another. We have to resist oppression, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homo and transphobia, criticism, while also fighting the genocide and Palestine. We have to stop standing in our churches and speak inclusively and believe that we can use gender inclusive language without an easier to say mankind. It's just as easy to say human. We have to fight president for president abolition to release our citizens. And guess what, friends? We have to rest and resistance. So sometimes you can't find me, but I'm in this bar, but I'm tired for resistance. We have to learn. Black, brown, and indigenous people how to do community care. Go away. We have to create thought lives, learn how to travel, learn to eat well, learn to think right, stay moisturized, water, get good food, be honored, see by believe in hell no and so what is our business that is yet unfinished to take the baton from Reverend Dr. P and walk by the praise just in our because take it from me someday we'll go. One person
please look up Dr. Kelly Brown. I wanted to make a brief announcement for those of you that are in the doorway. Please come into the gymnasium. If you're sitting in the bleachers and there are open seats on your row, please slide over. We want to clear the doorway. We want to have those that need accessible seating to have it. So if you're in the front row, you see someone who needs to sit there, please move. But we do want to clear the doorway. The floor space behind the audio set is also available, but if you want to see our seats in the pictures. Come on in and join us. All right, it's been an exciting program so far, but I still feel like we need a little more energy here, right? Girl side, let's warm our bodies up while we're on the inside. So I want to do a quick roll call for the Divine Nine now. I don't want to miss anybody, okay? I don't want to miss it. Nobody looking for me. So I'm just going to collectively invite you to stand. If you are a member of the Divine Nine, and you are here representing your fraternity and sorority today, please stand up. All the actual parents. Here we go. Black excellence and inspiredness. Thank you all for being here. So just to keep our program going, I have the pleasure of introducing the throwbacks, okay? Now these women, this group was founded by Renee Collins Bush, and these women are 50 and 60 years young. You agree? And they are women and improvement. So I'm sure you'll be performing again at an event coming soon. Next up, I would like to introduce some young folks. So if you haven't realized, there's a lot of young people participating in the rally, and that's very intentional. Those of us that have done the work to create a platform for them, now want them to step in. So even with Kobe, Izzy, and one of our interns and all the participants today, we really want to magnify their voice. They have lots to say. They're paying attention to the things that are going on around them. So I am honored to introduce a few young folks from Speak with Purpose. So Speak with Purpose is the only public speaking program offered in school hours as a class. Across across King County Public Schools, we are integrated into elementary and middle school classes as part of their common core curriculum. Their mission is clear: to empower every child sitting silently in the back of the classroom and empower them with the resources and guidance they deserve to become the leaders they want. So please help me welcome 3 of the Speak with Purpose scholars. We have Matthew, Amari, and Camden.
Take your time, Matthew.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew. I'm in 8th grade. I'm going to work with 8th grade in practice titled Black History and its Roots. What did you know about Black history? If you keep listening, I might be interested in life things you might not know. I'll show you a whole new world that is only MLK, was a part of very exciting. I'm not here to just tell you what they've done, but rather expand the knowledge on Black history. I'll start by telling you about Elijah Muhammad. Born in 1897, Elijah Muhammad was a religious leader from 1934 up until he died in 1975. He was an activist, writer, and leader of many people spreading his beliefs in the law. He wrote books like Message to the Black and The Fall of America. Next we have Malcolm X, a follower of Elijah Muhammad for fighting time. Born in 1925 in Rockville, he was taken to jail in 1946 for doing a stolen watch at a local shop for repairs. And don't worry, all of this ties to his story. While in prison, the students had invited him to come to this one. And soon afterwards, his brother went over to say, "Don't eat for pork and do not smoke illegal cigarettes. I will show you how to do that." Afterwards, he went to NOI and he was strong. Changed his last name to X and stayed in school. Lastly, and my opinion of founding Marcus Garvey. An entrepreneur, activist, publisher, journalist, and orator, or public speaker, for those of you that don't know. He was most famous for founding the Negro World newspaper, a shipping company called Black Star Line, the Universal Negro Recruitment Association, or UNIA, I know that's not wrong, which was a fraternal organization of Black nationalists. Sankofa, which roughly translates to "go back and get it" from the contract in Ghana. In order to understand our future, we must know our past. Now is the time for us to show respect to those who paved the way so that we can lead with knowledge of self and pride. Thank you all for listening. Hello, good morning. I'm in 6th grade and I don't want to go to school. This. You decide to go to the grocery store, but then, wait, you come across 2 grocery stores. One white owned, one black owned. And you think to yourself, which one should I go to? And I'm here to tell you all to go to the black one. Businesses make up roughly 4% of businesses in the United States alone. A pretty low number, if you ask me. If you don't support black businesses, it's kind of like not seeing the light in the dark. But the point is to support the hustle, the grind, and the successes of black businesses. This means a lot to me because I want, no, always to be a black. When I grow up,
It's like my dad inspired me. We have a responsibility not only as community that we have here, but as a nation. Just like my dad inspired me, I want to. No, that doesn't sound right. I'm going to. Why I would say that if you got, okay, it's not possible, right? It can't happen. It's impossible. Know that there are many others like me, young, gifted, talented, and black. I want to show you that people think it needs to stop. Black kid walking down the street with his hoodie on, dog will see this criminal, and reason to kill an innocent kid. It needs to stop. All you see is the color of our skin. It needs to stop. Kids were shot on the school because he looks shady. Do you believe that 164 deaths happened in the first 8 months of 2020 to honor Black people? Mind their own business. And last year, in 2023, 2 Black people died at the hands of cops. Repeat after me. Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Dante Wright, Manuel Ellis. It's like to be seen as a weapon, as a go to jail. There are kids getting shot on Trayvon Martin. There are kids getting beat up until they look like monsters on Emmett Till because of the color of their skin. We shouldn't be seen as weapons. I want to be seen as a weapon. I am not a weapon. I want to share this with you today is let you know we have a voice. Not just you, not just me, but all of us. We have a right to protest. We have a right to stop this happening. Most of all, we have a right to speak up. Right. Whether you're a kid, an adult, it doesn't matter. Just know you have a voice, and you have to use it to stop what's happening. No one should hear news that a police officer suffocated a man by putting his knee on his neck. And that's our work. And justice to one is justice to all. And it's not just a phrase, it's the truth. You may put one person down because of the color of their skin, putting everybody in that person down. We're supposed to lift each other up, not put each other down. Civil War started in 1861. 1861. Now 2024, and these things are still happening. Justice anywhere, justice anywhere.
I was trained in Asian. Yeah. And the great part, these 3 men wrote all that all by themselves. So I think I can do a whole other round of applause. This is a great. This is a great looking into the future. I think it tells a lot of these young men that no matter how high we go, we're all going to have time. We're all going to have people fighting for us, right? And those three heroes exemplary what the new dream was. So I was really amazing. Let's get one more round of applause. Next up, I'm going to call back Nick Ryan to acknowledge the new sponsors and people helping the next event.
This part of the program is for the Peace Disorganization Money. It's called a fundraiser. Before I ask you for money, they any elected officials in the House. If so, okay. Okay. Before we do that, I saw John Lewis coming out here. There he is. There he is up there. Okay. Now we will start funding all the elected officials for you check your account. We have 751 is coming handing out and the buckets up. And they can be ready to collect the money. But it's very important you can participate. And you can also go to Seattle MLK.org. You can make a contribution there. But this kind of take money to appreciate folks who are sponsors. But the key is bringing alive, private life, and need your financial support as well. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Flip Wyatt. And some of the other stuff to be done. It's going to be a special presentation.
How is everybody doing? Today we're celebrating the history of the United States and the world. Consistency is why we're seeing. We want to celebrate more consistency. That's the late 90s, we started coming to this. And then our youth started coming to this. And not only did they start coming, they started backing us up. They started backing us up with the intensity and level of understanding. Mr. White, he was one of the first black elected leaders in 751. Modest about it, but give him a hand. He was awesome.
All right, so everybody wants to right now, passing out. Unfortunately, we have to pay for all of this. We put it on every year, but we have to pay for it. So we're asking for your help. So when the budgets come by, drop $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, $100. We drop something in the bucket for us, please. Right now, I'd like to present a plaque to 751. And John Holden, who is now the district president.
This flag is stating about their consistency. Anybody can show up with something every year. But when you show up and you get every year, and you support it in the crowd, that's the commitment to legacy. Because my most consistent and urgent question is what are you doing for others? Well, we know the IAM has done for others, done for themselves, and done for this community. We want to thank you.
We want to thank you for the power of particularly what Bill Johnson and the leadership of Bill Johnson did over 25 years ago. We invite you to show up. 71 has been showing up every since. And under the leadership of these two individuals, we deeply appreciate it. We'd like to present you with a plaque to show our deep appreciation. Thank you, 751.
Thank you. Just want to thank you on behalf of our district president, myself, Mr. Jackson, Secretary Treasurer, and all of our Machinist Union, Aerospace, our District 751 family. We just want to say thank you. It's been an honor and pleasure to both serve and contribute to this great event every year. Thank you. Now, can I take $2,500? And thank all of you 751 sitting over there, wherever else you're sitting. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. So the buckets are coming around. We will also be collecting donations throughout the March Magazine rally. So please keep that in mind. We're coming pretty close to the end of our program. So you all at the same time for a moment, you will not leave us. You will not leave us for the March. Next, I will be introducing Ms. Monique Franklin, who will be coming with the spoken word. So Monique Franklin, also known as Verbal Oasis, is a multidisciplinary artist, scientist, healer, and art educator best known for her performance poetry. She has been referred to as the unofficial poet laureate of South Seattle, the Billie Holiday of spoken word, and the verbal manifestation of King Simone's soul. Her poetry is a voice to social justice issues, love, self-discovery, purpose, healing, liberation, power, and self-actualization. As a performer, you can find her poetry co-mingling with ancestors, musicians, vocalists, and dancers. Let's give a hand of applause for Monique Franklin.
How y'all doing? So on the way here, I want to thank Garfield for hosting this year after year. I'm here to preach in my life video as a practice way. I'm allowed in this space to honor my purpose, what we're actually. You're an individual life, it's an honor to me. In the service that you have made in your life, this is what we're here to do, this is what we're jumping on. First, we must honor and invite our ancestors. Without them, we would not exist. Who have delivered us to this moment of momentum for science and evolution for our continued growth. Who call upon us in the presence of engage in our own success to seek and elevate truth, to see and be the light, and to act with hope and hopes that we will all act now. An individual has not started living until they can rise above the narrow confines of their individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of humanity. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Traveling through time, seeing in and out of focus, past the present, holidays, days gone by, days we come, we go, and we arrive. There is no thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives on the goal. These streets we call home, these arterial way the parallel lines that intersect. Take the course of community centers and flowing down country roads. If we take a ride, eyes open, not closed, we can see. I am the truth, no matter who tells it. I am the justice, no matter who it is for or against. I am the human being first and foremost an asset. I am the whatever benefits humanity as a whole. El Haj, we each have the opportunity to find our basic motions and tactics, the places for justice to move in, where freedom should become a new friend in our own neighborhoods. See truth in the world and curate your own library full of well-loved people and books with exercise signs and golden corners, something that highlight break all you can translate into empathy, compassion, cooperation, and kindness. Check out the truth. The only way to reduce ugliness in the world is to reduce it in yourself. Very trusted. There are many things you can personally do to end depression. This truth is something you can understand. Do your research, unlearn, relearn, explore, expand. Start where you are, use what you have, use what you can. All right. Run yourself outside of the confines of your own brick and mortar. Mission your withstand and like minds. Arts allow your service to humanity to fly for lifetimes. Let today be the rapid time out of this varies with the purpose to create human possibility. Not everything that is faced can change, but nothing can change until it stays and evolves. Think beyond you to lead. Think beyond you to lead. Be the overlapping brushstrokes of equity, curated community, the conservators of peace, and being a purpose-filled life. A lifestyle activity, the collective bureau of the world that is done dating the world. That is finally done dating. Can you imagine a world without hate? An expression of the feeling that we all need. An expression of what is real. 1,000 words of ideas to improve the lives of others can be found into the faces of our future, our past, and the present. Think fast. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. I will do that. Now is the time for a future that outcomes competition. You need to let your own light shine. We need to lead and be and inspire. We need you to twinkle, glimmer, and gleam. We need you to help us see that we are all on the same team, illuminating pathways that express ways that we can learn and grow for one another. Be the master and listen and hope for one generation to the next. Trust in the reality that your work will bring about the change that you intend. Hope is the bond between you and your actions. That which we hope for, we make goals for. We strive for, we come alive for. I'm no longer accepting the things that I cannot change. I am changing the things that I cannot accept. You are the difference between this reality and the next. You are the difference between this reality and the next. A many thoroughfares the best version of ourselves. Whether you do it quietly or out loud or proud, as long as you are on the road, moving justice to the next mile marker, be the truth, the light, and the hope and hopes that we all have now. Now, life is very short. What we have to do must be done in the now, on the board. Now, you have to act as if it were possible to transform the world. You have to do that all the time. And today is now. Now is the second time, not tomorrow, not what convenient season is today, that our efforts can be done. W.E.B. Du Bois. Now the ancestors have spoken, and we thank them for their work and their wisdom. But now I have to be. I have to be what we said, and what we do now.
Thank you. As you said, I'm 50 days of the challenge, but I think you want to challenge today. So, like Martin Luther King did, look beside himself, now maybe I think see beside himself. People protest. So, if each individual one of us, we need to do the same thing. Because if you have hate in your heart, you can't be angry with us. So, thank you. Next up, we'll have a closing prayer. Please stay in the gym because we're having first we're doing prayer with the same so he's the rabbi and the time around community. He's been working towards liberation through his work for about 20 years in multi-racial, multi-gender, and disability, multi-class, and multi-generational spaces. He is a student and a teacher. He is from New York, it's a high school university in Southern England, Florida, and is living in Seattle MLK Philadelphia, where he attended the Beacon from college. Now, we'll introduce Rabbi David Nestor. it is in the service of my heart to recite a prayer to close this remarkable gathering and conjure our collective gratitude and praise for its presenters and speakers, founders and sustainers, elders, organizers, and youth. Let us and from tribe leaders on whose land we celebrate this birthday together in some of my people's languages: Adam, gracias, Todara, Shukran, Shoyas, Kazakh, and Aisasi. Thank you, and may you and yours be strengthened and blessed. I call forth my ancestors and teachers as I invite us into prayer. A moment with your permission, my friends. Let us bless the source of life. Let us bless the source of life which has indeed sanctified us all today by stirring in us our desire to take up the unfinished reading of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., reaffirming the ancient words of Rabbi Tarfon of the Mishnah. We are not obligated to finish the task, but nor are we free to desist from it. Let us bless the source of life, who awakens us to the teaching that we must love our neighbors as ourselves. And then we understand neighbor not as a geographic term, but as a moral concept. And Rabbi Joachim Prince implored at the March on Washington, setting the stage for Reverend Dr. King to articulate his dream. Let us bless the source of life, who gives humans the capacity to understand, to discern, to heed, to learn, to teach, to keep, to make, and to fulfill all that we can comprehend with love. That the only enemies are the limitations within us that keep us from living into what the Reverend Dr. King called non-violent coexistence with one another. Let us bless the source of life who gave our ancestors the perspective that all is one, that connection and interdependence is undeniable, and we gave them and us now the courage to pass this teaching down from generation to generation, and to attempt to live it as we walk and roll on the way. We must by now this morning have a clear sense of what these lessons mean. Surely by now, O source, we have the power to act with the clarity of vision and of purpose, banishing poverty, banishing racism, and banishing militarism. To fulfill these lessons not just in recitation, but in embodiment, honoring your life in our ways of being good. We must by now this morning have a clear idea of what it means that yes, we are each a distinct and beautiful individual human from a distinct and beautiful people like mine. And we must by now this morning have a clear understanding that while on one hand that is true, and on the other, it is also true what Reverend Dr. King once wrote and Cameron recited in a jail in Birmingham, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Let us all who are here have this clarity now, for not more than, but forevermore. That there is no liberation for you if there is no liberation for me.
that there is no liberation for me if there is no liberation for you. We can all be safe. We can all be fed. We can all have homes. We can all be safe for one another. In particular, we need to thrive and belong if rapidly shift from the thing-oriented society to the person-oriented society. As the Reverend Dr. King put it here, before he was killed today. And while yes, he did earlier say the time is always right to do what is right, he spoke that day of the fierce urgency of now. That there is such a thing as being too late. Source of life, grant us the fortitude and audacity to forgive ourselves as we are right now being too late for so many. From the streets of Seattle to what is left of the roads of gossip, we are currently being too late for so many. Let fame not dominate, no, let us instead own our mistakes and be able to act now with a clear and aligned heart and hand. Let us bless that source of life that might provide us a path from denial, avoidance, even management, toward genuine transformation, toward persistence, toward resilience, toward a mutual aid and a public show of love that Dr. Cornell West calls justice. May the great name of divine love be exalted as we remember those we lost along the way to bring their memory blessing. And those of us who savor still this great gift we call life, may we see the divine in one another's faces. And while we might pause, may we not wait another moment to further the dream. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Green, for the closing prayer. We have now reached the end of our event. I just want to shout out to the MLK Coalition interns. So just want to acknowledge them and all their hard work. Also, thanks again to all of the coalition members. Thank you to the vendors, volunteers, media, and all the program participants. We need more volunteers, okay? So this is a volunteer-based coalition and event. If you're interested in getting involved, please go to our website, www.seattlemlkcoalition.org. We do begin our planning season in September, so please get connected. Be safe as we exit the gym. If you are marching with us, please march behind the banner. This lovely banner that our young people are taking down. You want to stay behind the banner. Once we reach the end destination, there will be a community meeting. So there will be popsicle meals available at the end, and there will be transportation back to Garfield. Thank you all for being here today. And we're gonna let Uncle Steve take this out with a little and can all the rapid volunteers meeting at the podium, please? Thank you.
All right, that wraps up the rally. You done with that camera? Are you done with that camera? Okay. I'm powering it down. Well, this one's still. This one, oh, okay. Oh, they did move. Is that better? Yeah, so I think it's going to be good. I've been working with her for like about a good year. So I think but yeah. So you can tell some of it got so it's almost like several renditions until the AI learns. Yeah, the photo because like some maybe other folks in it like pretty sharp, right? And then behind it, you know, that there's quite the focus. So it was really interesting to see the program kind of like turn it out and figure it out, and you know, continue to share it. Like how you see the different opportunity and how like yeah, you know, because live all those you know all those photos out there, like being able to make them like amazing. I mean, it did fantastic results with William Grove and Dave Jefferson. So, I mean, I know it's always how you got those big. You see them on the internet, they're like 200 pixels. You want them to look good, you got to run that crap through AI. Several until it learns exactly what you want. So, believe it or not, we still see it's different than what it means. Yeah. And we have to tell the machine that's not really what it looks like. Why then it works the way we got it. So it's for a long time. Because when you have stuff that's really low, the rest of it really does. Well, I feel like it's like an under. I played around a little bit with the version. It's like when it's low res, it knows. You know, it's kind of like okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got to like reference one up first. Yeah, throw something with like you're an API or something. It's like it feels like it wants to do something. Okay, I think it makes more projects that are on the scrappy. Yeah. You ain't gonna get much out of it. It's like here you can put this, we can backlight. There's something backlight. It's like okay, I need it. I need it. I mean, it can, but it's a lot harder. The low res one, when you're done, it did not do that. So what I do a lot of this thing, if I want the results to be fast, I will put in Photoshop and then let it go. Oh, really? It ain't smart. I mean, that's just the one. Yeah. So, some of the things I will come off of there was one, what was the one I was in the other day? I did something to it, and you saw indentation. Oh, yeah. And I know it's making it up, but to have that kind of rendition, it looks like it's right. That's not digital. And I mean, the details off. And I'm trying to think who was that. He was one of the people that I was working with. I'm like, no way. Don't 100%. And you saw the texture of the skin, everything. And when you saw the original, one of the people, even the person didn't. It created. So what it's doing is it's taking my skin, taking my hair, taking my makeup, and I honestly taking it. Yes, up to the Lord. And I haven't even tried it. And they do well. So when they start getting the better mode, they're working. Oh yeah, I look forward to that because I know that the CWU folks, they want to present at the pocket. They have a date. So are you familiar with pocket? So basically, in a link, every Wednesday, like 7 from it started last week and it's going to go through February. The different groups that they gave money for the money that CWU from the state, and they basically report back. So I think what they said, they're really interested in the video. I don't know if they're going to try to, I don't know if it's to be or anything, but they want to report back on like all the stuff they're doing. So I just see it as a huge opportunity. Not yeah. Well, that's right. This is my because they'll be and honestly, they're going to see something that so typically reason why. Like this has a little help, like it's been the sibling to hold on to it all. And then then how you're bridging that gap. You know who reached out to me that I'm going to work with them. It's you. They reached out to us after our oh, Washington. Yeah, sure. It all gets scammed. Cool. That's great. They want 16 here. I got to figure out. So what inspires you to do? Basically, they have this project called Black History in Washington. There's an app and they do entries. And really what it was, I was in touch with it. I went to the library. In the library, they have a component to do research on, like Yakima, Rosalind. Came across some stuff, continued talking with them, and so they had remembered that I had been in touch, and so they had said, would you be interested in working on the Rosalind winery? And so it started there, and then they asked me to work on a few more, and yeah, it was great working with them. I worked with their education guy, Michael, yeah, and then Mary Michael, she's kind of the head person. And so yeah, so Michael, I reported directly about the project and reported up to her about it. And then Tia, I don't know or I may have, they have of the number three. Yeah. Yeah. They made a replica of it. And the thing was is I'm like, because they did it kind of like and so I was just like, okay, like specifically the number, so it's kind of the education piece and that kind of thing. So they want to update that. So that's kind of what I'm interested in. Okay. So I was in touch with our curator about it, and she's on board. She's totally on board. It's just a matter now of like, when it's kind of a bureaucratic place. I'm saying, so just kind of like getting that across the finish line. But the curator came to it. She's really into it, and she was very interested in like photos and being able to update it. So yeah, so at the museum they have a number three replica line. How big is it? Yeah, so kind of like they have it's crazy. Yeah, almost I'll send you photos. I got some photos of it when I was there. I went like last year, and so there's like there's like fake rocks and stuff, and you come in, and then they have this passageway, maybe like 12 feet, and they have like visual artifacts, like the hats and the lights. But the thing is that they got donated, and they don't really know. They know it's from out in the area, but they don't really know who it is. And it was just so my kind of feedback to them was like, I'm going to Canada. We have stories, that can be shared. We have oral histories, people remembering, working in that month. And so for them, and for this curator, that was the whole, powerful stories that share the narrative. So yeah, so they have it there. Yeah. Cindy picks the crack. There's huge opportunity. They already, you know what I'm saying? It's already there. So yeah. So that's kind of hooked up with them, and then I definitely mentioned you, and I mentioned WSBLI. So like, because the thing is, it's for that Black Washington History project, like the institute makes what we, you know what I mean? And then the funded, which is like an important part of this. So I'm thinking, does that sound like they don't have a lot? Well, they're going into this. So the new thing they welcome is. Thank you. For this heritage project thing, like that's where we'll do overall budget, and then there's always leftover amounts, and then they allocate it out. Also, Reverend Dr. Kelly, the reason this group's important is basically you come in and you make an you get money, and then you work for it. So like go down like that sort of thing. So money for the project. Just about that project too. Yeah. Now I sent her a text after. I didn't get just in general. Sometimes like fall off the grid and stuff. Sometimes like she's not quite as responsive. So I just kind of like the way that I do it is I'm just like patiently persistent. It's kind of like send it and then wait a few weeks and then just like do like just back in. So yeah. Oh, and thanks for being open to for Washington Foundation having the event. Yeah, so they're going to be down at the commercial cafe downtown. You know, it's like, so they have, you know, the nursing store, and they have this cafe restaurant area. That'd be pretty big. We well 50 people. So someone on the board, I think someone on the board knew someone there, and they were able to work something out. But anyway, thank you for that. But I do think, in terms of the Washington legacy, I think there's some good opportunities. And the house last year got this historic artist house designation, which, in terms of development and stuff, I think will unlock, you know, because basically it got designated. It's like a national group. There's like 50 of them in the U.S. And so the woman that's the head of it, she's going to be coming. She'll be speaking. So you should. The invites, I think, are going out today. So you're going to get. So if you're available, great. And then you know, otherwise we can look to another time to. So I do want to connect you with those guys. Okay. Like Reverend Milburn Hall, she's the head of it, and she knew the Washingtons back in the day. And so right now it's kind of like a leadership transition because she's in her mid-80s, and so kind of a leadership transition to go to. And so I'm kind of like.
So Monet has this big collective about the so with the exercise gone. He has had huge huge black. So they came to ask me about, you know, some of the practices. So me and Charlie been down there, and your name came up, and I said, well, why don't you invite him out? So I thought they were invited. Yeah, we told them about both you and they did invite. I did, good. But I was trying to get most out of it because they have all this stuff that's trying to figure this out. You know, there were years ago. Yeah. So it's like, UW was, I said, no. Then you'll wait forever for this. You need to get some individuals. I said, no, you want this done any kind of efficient. You go and you find a few dollars and you pay these people. They will do on board. Because, you know, I mean, don't get it wrong. You should be fine. You go to this special thing and you will sit. Yeah, it's going to be so short. Yeah, that's right. She has so much. Yeah. Come on, you need a real friend. You're going to be doing this for years. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, especially if the collections. They are presenting the whole collection at the college right now. And it feels the whole. I honestly believe they have from 1975. That's a museum? Yeah. I was wondering where that was. Because here's my thing. That I would love to connect with them, because here's the thing that I've been interested in for paintings is that I came across an article that said that museum in Tacoma had their printing press. The they had a printing press? The printing press for the Caton newspaper. It said that they had Horace and Susie Revel paintings. Oh my God. So if that is the ad. Also, this article was like 94, 95. It was when they were establishing the museum. There was like it was in, I think, the local Tacoma paper, and they were going through like kind of highlights. And it said that, and I popped out of my head. I was like, because you know, my understanding is that for the Caton artifacts, like the access has a little bit, but that the family kept a lot of it, and then a lot of it is in Chicago, because the granddaughter. She went out there, and then she had like an art gallery out there and everything. But she held on to a lot of it, and it's at Chicago Public Library. So when I heard when I read this article, I was like, what? So I guess the idea being too that there's, and as I'm sure as you probably too, there's going to be so much overlap. But, you know, get that, I think it will.
So we're going, the perfect challenge on either one of them is will we have a viable machine, right? Yeah, because if we don't, and as soon as they transition how they say stuff, but at least for now, because as much as I wanted to keep them on DVD and Blu-ray, they have years.
We'll need to maintain it too. Yeah, you run into that volume.
Yeah. Hard drive. I won't talk about it. I lost a lot of information. I didn't think hard drive was just crap. Even SSD.
Nobody can tell, but I am very shy.
I'm trying to get something that we can transition. If we have to migrate, we can migrate. And I hope that's
that gave me an entry.
The demand is there.
Yeah.
The consumer demand is there. We all want the same thing. Yep. I mean, that's what they get you though, because they want to keep the product. You remember the gold CDs?
Yeah. Laser disc. Yeah, but laser disc. Laser disc was a good form.
Yeah.
It was already big old disc. Now we're doing 100 gig, 7-inch. I think the biggest one that they have, $180. Really listening to, but my challenge was on the LTO.
Oh, right. The guy, that just creeps me out. I just get nervous hearing about that because there's such a reliance on that, and then it's like we need to back it up.
They say 3 hours. There, then you have back up.
Yeah. And geographically, it'd be somewhere else.
Yeah. And we're going to say that. And honestly, if we can network with enough people, they build our minds.
I am a biker. I came here in peace.
Old Dave, Mighty Irish. The son of a Garfield.
Yeah.
Well, Modi, thank you so much for not only sharing.
Why wouldn't we have that like they all share the same attention? I'm gonna have to have that conversation with Stephanie. I was up there not too long ago, and he said, "Let me have access to the." Yeah, and also the cases here. You see the 1930. So what I did is I did this.
I'm Rick Dupree along with one photo.
And now you hear what they've been clearing out but now digital still have your short
I mean, the architect of all of this, Tony B. What you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So you don't have to add to find out. Yeah. First of all,
Ms. Phillips, another MLK rally and march.
Make it.
we got knocked off the air here.
One is the guy who was being the temple, and the other one.
Yeah. So
let me do that. That's my objective right now. I want all of them to stay late because again, this information is so
exhibits and installations that you'll be able to see.
and that's what it's right now.
Black Panther Party, we're going to talk about what you got going on. In a minute, Black Heritage
One
Society.
of the things that I really started to one of the things I want to do is I want to make sure.
Tony B.
Yeah.
You got a great collection there, brother. I went to that high school. I met all these veterans. Come on, man. That is the very simple. If you would have started with a bunch of the Hartsfield families the Negro League Baseball exhibit once again.
Getting into the AI technology, what creative things we can apply.
It's Zell's famous.
Samples, I hope.
Yeah. They're just gonna put a big.
You know, right now it's early. You wait till May, you're done. Right. They check the skills. And it's not to say that they won't
A lot of these are
you have the strategy. They will come in, they will be the operating experience, the gospel. So, you know, that's one of the things that we're going to put on the agenda at PO line. And we're going to do a lot of different work. The video and
exhibits that we have there, Rick, and you did a phenomenal training.
Other museums that you can like here.
I'll say this, we will have it so that
And not only will it be something to fund yourself, but it may have a reputation, credibility, and also some of the people who are learning these skills. We're gonna ignore somebody.
Do we okay? But we right now and finish with primary film. In the project, we were saying coming to 2020, they're coming to 2023, but we're about 6 months out, so the goal is to have it built.
But you can't tell by looking. So they were
show of this month. Still have a little bit of fundraising to do. So if you are interested, go to our website, Seattle Black Panthers with an S.doc.com.
Images that you
and on the QR code, the way you can invest in the film. But we're really trying to find. We'll have the short report and the teaser at
submitting
consciousness, so you kind of get a sense of the film. Tony, I also want to mention you mentioned Untold Fire, and obviously Pat Wright started. There is a phenomenal documentary that I want to say 2-3 years ago and just an incredible documentary.
Frankly, let me see if I can. And you know, and all I try to do is I try to do it to a point that you can't. That was never that way.
And
right. You know. And you know, most people have never seen it, but when you see it, you and it doesn't.
And post the WIA
right, because I mean, and you can always tell tomorrow really? That's all we want to see. You need to see.
Tony, thank you, and as you know, so long
this kind of condition.
It's something that
So if I can go up on the city, I was just
position today.
Friends,
it just seems like it is.
All right. Yeah.
First of all, I can open
those. It's healthy.
Family copy.
It's a great strategy. So many museums still have storage to visit in fact. in some cases they don't have the original.
Right,
So
exactly.
That's, I feel like that's such a,
we have represented for so many years too.
in terms of grants or funding, stuff that would make
The process is a little convoluted.
we're trying to
but,
solve
we're
the problem we
gonna,
have.
Like working in
I think
community
that's
public radio,
gonna be
we'll straight
yeah, I
everything
think
out.
that's-
And, I'll be ready for the public events on Thursday evening and next Monday morning. And hopefully, I'll be able to persuade excellent.
So if we want to have support for you, just as a friend, as a community member, how do we do that?
There are currently 8 city council members, and we have a council member in our district, Teresa Mosqueda, and obviously, I'm sorry, not Teresa Mosqueda, but Kevin Morales, District 2, where a lot of our listeners are. We also have a council member who was just recently elected this summer, who represents Southern Henry Bear, and then obviously the president of the city council. Anyone who has relationships, but if you're in your district, please, I appreciate that you would send them a note. You can go on the Seattle City Council website.
Yeah,
and it's www.seattle.gov, and you can find their name, and then you can go ahead and either make a phone call or send them an email message and let them know that you've seen me work in the community and feel that I would be an excellent choice for them.
Also, joining us on the first time, Garfield High alum, 4-time All-American, 4-state title, owner of the Kimberly's Gems, and also working with us at Rainier Avenue Radio.
There was an issue right here with
our installation, installation.
No idea.
Get it right now. Kimberly Phillips, welcome to the
Back here,
between this and those
exciting to work with you.
who have over maybe 100 years. 1816. They took a picture with a crappy camera and this is all we got.
Oh, they're natural.
Taking that, it's like so that's like yet another pathway of being able to say, well, we've talked about this and now there's something nice. We have about all the photos that are definitely on this here. That's another huge.
Yeah, Lincoln, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Spanish show that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's about it. That's about all the time we have. Thank you everyone for joining this broadcast. MLK. You're filming this one. Video March video place right now. And so again, don't forget to videos now.
Really have this some high end
Black History Month
almost
Museum.
do it.
We're going to have basketball playoffs coming up for you very shortly. Baseball broadcasts and just general programming and
So what it does is all the video
Kimberly,
and we would have to go
and Daniel, that's all the time we have. That's good for the kids. And finally,
process the batch. And what it is,